There is a new sheriff in town. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has a new boss at the helm of affairs. President Bola Tinubu approved the appointment of Mr. Olumide-Fusika, the first Christian and Southerner to ever head the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission since the agency was set up in 2004. His appointment, which was approved for a renewable term of 4 years in the first instance, pending the Senate confirmation, however, followed the alleged resignation of his predecessor, Abdulrasheed Bawa, who had since been suspended by the president and kept in detention. Olumide, a lawyer with over 22 years of experience as a regulatory compliance consultant, is also a specialist in fraud management and corporate intelligence. He has extensive experience in the operations of the EFCC, having previously served as Chief of Staff to the Executive Chairman and Secretary to the Commission. Joining us on the show to discuss the appointment of Mr. Olumide-Fusika as the new EFCC boss is Adeyinka Olumide-Fusika, a senior advocate of Nigeria. Welcome to the show this morning.
Thank you for having
All
me
right.
here. Good morning.
So let's start by understanding when you have somebody who is, when you have someone who has understanding of investigation, finding solutions to fraud, investigating fraud and things like that. And then the letters of the law says specific in terms of being commissioner level, of being in the agency of government that does security and so on, and he has never been in any of this. What level of fluidity in the letters of the law makes it possible for the current government to be able to maneuver their way and say, this is justifiable? Silk, help us understand.
First of all, as a Nigerian, I would just want to comment on your intro. The bits that said first Christian, first Southerner, and all that. I think that we should be careful in promoting these sort of things in this country. I do understand the sentiment on the streets, but it's not a part of the qualification, part of the requirements of being a chairman of the EFCC to be from any part of the country or to be of any religious persuasion. And in any case, we know what we know. The religion you profess has not affected the fate of Nigeria, the condition of Nigeria. Most of the people that have been in government profess one religion or the other, and they make open display of it, but we know what the situation of the country is. I think we should be careful in emphasizing some of these things that tend to, promote the division, sharp division that we have in the country. It's of no relevance whether it's a Christian or a Southerner. The people there before didn't fail because they were Northerners, and they didn't succeed because they were Muslim. It has nothing to do with it, really. That said, I would say, too, that I've read some of the comments saying that this gentleman is not qualified to be chairman of the EFCC. I was, if you don't go and read the law yourself, I would say that initially I was of that persuasion that perhaps, maybe it doesn't meet the requirement. But when you read the sections of the law, it's the law that prescribes what the qualification of the chairman of the EFCC is. I think, you may then see that it's not as presented to the public by those arguing against it. Like I said, I was also of the same persuasion.
So which section precisely gives that fluidity that you could
It's not a fluidity as such. It's what the section says. These sections are subject to interpretation. So section 2(1) of the EFCC Establishment Act makes the prescription of what qualifies you to be chairman of the EFCC. And if you permit me, it's a short section, I'll read it out. Yeah. It says the commission shall consist of the following members. With respect to the office of the chairman, it says a chairman who shall be the chief executive and accounting officer of the commission. That's one. That's the function of the office. Then to qualify to be so, to be appointed as so, it says it shall be a serving or retired member of any government security or law enforcement agency, not below the rank of assistant commissioner of police, or not below the rank of assistant commissioner of police or equivalent. And then the third one, possess not less than 15 years cognate experience. So that's basically the qualification for the office. If you apply it to the gentleman that has been appointed, he's a lawyer. That's to start with. And
will that be considered as cognate experience?
Of course. Okay. 20 years is but let me get there. I will get there. The practice is area of practice. You know, what is cognate really? See, if you say that it must be, we can pick out 3 or 4 things from that provision. It must be of the rank of assistant commissioner of police, serving or retired. You know, this man was working in the EFCC as chief of staff to the chairman. And you know what the role of chief of staff is. It's virtually, you know, like, how do I put it, shadow chairman, you know, because everything that the chairman does is the one coordination of the office, making sure that investigations and all that. Then from there, he was promoted, but not promoted, he was appointed as secretary. And that section of the law that I quoted for you listed the members of the commission. And the secretary is a member of the commission. That section, under section 2.
But section 8 also states clearly that the rules of the secretary of the EFCC, and it is basically secretarial, it's administrative, isn't it?
We'll get there.
Okay.
We'll get there. What I'm saying is, look, if you look at the section, it said must be, listen, let me point out it to you again what it says. Say must be a member of any of the government security agencies.
Correct.
I'm saying that section 2 says the secretary is a member.
That's right.
So he's already a member. He's not, I'm not the one saying so. It's the law that says so. Yeah. Also, he is a member of the commission. And you cannot say EFCC is not a government security agency. Yeah. It is. So that's, as far as that section of the law goes, having been the secretary of the commission, he's been a member of a government security agency. So that's very clear. Now you are going to the issue of, okay, the role of the secretary, the functionality is administration. Okay. A simple answer to that is that take the Nigerian police force now. You have somebody in the police that has never done investigation. Let's just take it that way. Maybe it's just secretary to the, you know, the police also has a secretary.
That's right.
But he's a policeman.
Yes.
So you now say that he's not a policeman because...
But he will have been a police officer first.
Wait, Ola has been a member of the commission. He was a member of the commission. You know, so you go to the next one and then talk about cognate, which is what you are actually talking about.
Can I possibly interject for one second?
Yes.
The number of years he has spent in EFCC, when you check, he was chairman, he was chief of staff from 2016 to 2018. That's 2 years.
Okay.
And then 2018 to 2020, he was secretary to the commission. That's 4 years. Does that amount to the number of years expected to have been in service? 15 years is what is prescribed.
That's one way to look at it.
Because that's all, 4 years is all he has spent in the EFCC.
Yes, that's one way to look at it. But as a lawyer, the way I will argue differently.
Okay.
Cognate. The mistake you are making is that you think that when that law says cognate, it means that he must be a policeman. He must have been in the police force for 15 years, or the army, or the EFCC for 15 years. No. Cognate, what does it mean? Just means similar, relevant, and all that. So you cannot tell me, well, you can't say so, but in my view, somebody who has been a lawyer of 20 years, whose area of practice is in that area of, and all that. That has been his area of practice. It just means relevant. Cognate means relevant. It doesn't mean that you must have that, you must have acquired that relevance by being a member of a particular agency. Just means, does he have the experience? If in the opinion of whoever is doing the appointment, he looks at his CV and he sees that, well, he has the, he's been in this area for so long, in my view, for more than 15 years, he's qualified to be appointed. So that would be my own way of looking at it. But to say that that section says it must have been in the EFCC for 15 years, I don't think that would be correct. Yes, I've read it out. Okay. So it's not a question of argument. I've read, what I read out now is exactly what the section says. Okay. There's nowhere you will see there that says it should be in the EFCC for 15 years. It will say cognate experience. Cognate. Relevant. And a lawyer of 15 years, of 20 years, somebody, and whose area is not into copyright. He's not been doing copyright legal practice. He's not been doing what other area of law? Property or something like that. This has been his area. So you cannot say that somebody who has, been in that area of practice has no cognate experience, relevant experience to, be appointed to that office. Well, that's my own view on the area.
But I'd like you to talk more about what you lawyers will call the intendment of the law. But before then, I thought that it was important to respond to the observation that you raised at the beginning of the interview when you said that we should be careful so as not to be seen to be promoting divisive things, which is important, and that's taken in good faith. But I also think that part of what you is important to note is that when a media organization gives out information that are factual, they're just information. It is just about fact of the matter. It is never intended, as lawyers will say, to create any disharmony. So when we say that he is the first Southerner who happens to be a Christian, it's just saying that look at it from Nuhu Ribadu in 2023, 2024, up till the gentleman who is said to have resigned, Bawa, that this is the first time that a Southerner will be appointed. And it will be the same thing whether you're discussing an MPC or you're discussing Inspector General of Police. That is part of who we are. And I don't think that whether it is done by a TV station or an editorial in a newspaper, it is just to give out correct information.
That is just like Greg Fergus in Canada, the first black man.
Absolutely.
Even their prime minister
Absolutely.
said he's the first black man.
Absolutely.
We are not. I didn't mean to say that you intentionally wanted to do that. Certainly not. But what I'm saying is that we operate within, a social context, so to say.
Yes.
The problem with that, the way I see it, is that when you say that, we are here to discuss his qualification.
Yes. Oh yes.
When you say that, some religious bigots or some ethnic bigots will begin to say, oh, he's qualified. He's a Southerner. He's a Christian. Yeah. They don't want to go into what the law says again. Yes. His opponent will say, oh, they've removed a Muslim to replace it with a Christian. They are targeting the North. Yeah. They are putting Yoruba in all the positions and all that. We don't really... I don't really think we need that. This at the stage we are in the country.
Yeah, but
the country is so divided.
Fact are facts, really. And they are not. Just like in law, fact are fact. They do not create any issues if the intention is clear. But coming back to the issue of Mr. Olukoyede, the intendment of the law. Will you say that? I think it is easy to argue and to look for areas that will buttress the point and then define or redefine what cognate means, what experience means, what number of years is required. But then the examples that the law cited, not lower than the level of an assistant, commissioner of police. Emphasis, commissioner, police. Will it be a reason, therefore, why you have had a Nuhu Ribadu, AIG retired when he served? You have had Farida Waziri, AIG retired when she served. You have had Ibrahim Lamode, DIG retired when he served. Ibrahim Magu, Abdurrashid Mawa. There are certain things that are clear. And if you want to...
If it's so clear, we won't be talking about it. When you say there are certain things that are
It's
clear.
been clear up till now.
No,
It is
the
only
fact that
because
somebody, the previous Bauer that just left, what was his position before he became chairman? Don't forget that there was also the argument when he was appointed that he wasn't qualified.
in terms of
Yes,
the level.
it was, I mean,
Yeah.
but people were promoting, no, he's the first real operative of the EFCC to be appointed, you know. Do you know, to be, how long does it take? You know, when take the example of Izimagu that you just mentioned. He retired.
Who was never confirmed anyway.
He retired. He was appointed when he was it Commissioner of Police?
Yes.
Commissioner of Police. But he wasn't Commissioner of Police from day one. You know, he was promoted up to that level.
It was not even confirmed, actually.
No, let's even take it that he was. It's not as if he started serving as commissioner. He joined the police force as commissioner of police and was promoted to that level as commissioner of police. That's not the case, you know. So the number of years you are on that particular position as commissioner of police, whether it is one day, does not matter. That's what I would say. And you cannot tell, well, you can say so. I would think that somebody who is secretary, one of the two executives, there are only two executives in the EFCC, the chairman, who are, you know, like a position, holding executive position in the EFCC, is the chairman and the secretary. All the other members are not. You cannot tell me that one of the two persons, well, you can tell me. What I'm saying, my argument is that one of the two persons who are members and holding executive position in the EFCC is of the rank below Assistant Commissioner of Police. This man has held the office of secretary. Okay. You can go into the argument as to whether, because secretary is administrative, therefore it does not have cognate experience, relevant experience in the area. But that's your opinion. If the president feels that that's enough, whatever for him, you are not the one making the appointment. I'm not the one making the appointment. But like I said, before he was made secretary, he was in the EFCC, serving in the EFCC. He was the chief of staff to Magu.
For 2 years.
Yeah, whether it is 2 years. That's the reason why I pointed out that the mere fact that you were there for 2 years does not mean Magu was not commissioner of police for the entirety of his life. He only became commissioner of police, you know, by promotion. So the law does not say the person must have been assistant commissioner of police or equivalent for 15 years.
Rank not
no, for 15 years.
At the point of appointment,
at
your
the point,
rank
yes,
must not be lower.
yes, at the point of appointment.
Yes.
And if you want to argue that you don't consider the secretary, one of the two executives in the commission, as of the rank of assistant commissioner of police, you can argue it. I don't subscribe to that argument.
You don't think that that argument would not have surfaced?
I don't subscribe to it. It's my opinion.
If he was like an officer in any of the security agencies.
Officer. What do you take me to be? I'm an officer of the law. If you don't know.
That would be your understanding
No. A lawyer.
EFCC
No. A lawyer is an officer of the law.
But
that's the truth.
Is not an
the mere fact that I'm not
agent.
in the.
This says law enforcement.
Agent.
Officer of the law is different.
You are
from
confusing. You are
enforcement.
confusing. You are mixing up.
No,
you are mixing up a lot
the
of
Constitution.
things.
I'm not a lawyer.
It's the law that says so. It says cognate experience. It didn't say cognate experience as a member of the police or as EFCC.
So cognate experience.
Yes.
Now
it's English now. Cognate. Relevant. So relevant. It just means relevant.
I completely similar.
It didn't say that relevance must be in the EFCC.
Relevant and similar.
Yes.
I'm not keeping a position because I have no particular interest or personal interest in this. I'm just a journalist who's asking
I agree.
So as
and
a
I don't also, you know, I told you that initially
Yes.
I was of the view that there's a
did
problem
say
with
it.
it.
You know, off the camera.
Yes.
But then I went on to read it.
So as a journalist,
and you know, you invited me here as a lawyer, not as a politician, not as somebody who has interest and all that.
Yes.
I'm only telling you that if I were to argue, if I were to be asked to give an opinion on the section of the law, this would be my opinion.
As a lawyer.
Or this will now be my informed opinion.
So, conversation between a lawyer and a journalist now.
Yes.
Some of the people that I spoke with are asking the question that are we at that point where we're beginning to water down what is in the Constitution to suit what politicians want. Hold on, hold your thought. This is the opinion of Nigerians, and a couple of people that said this are not even lawyers. They're not lawyers, and they're not politicians by any stretch of imagination. They're just normal Nigerians who are going about their daily duties. And their question is, when you say 15 years, you mean 15 years. It doesn't mean that the person has been 15 years as a commissioner, because nobody sits in the same position of commissioner for 15 years. It's not possible, unless that person is in serious trouble and they refuse to promote him. They would have edged him out of the position. So 15 years in the law enforcement agency.
Where did he say that?
No,
I read it out to you.
Yeah,
where did he say?
No, will you want emphasis, Kyle? Let me just help you quickly.
Yes.
In the frequently asked questions section of the EFCC website, a question is posed there, by the EFCC itself. Must the EFCC chairman be a serving or retired police officer? And they answer the question, by themselves. In the AQ section, no. Section 2, subsection A2 of the EFCC Act 2004 clearly states that the Commission's chairman must be a serving or retired member of any government security or law enforcement agency, not below the rank of Assistant Commissioner of Police or his equivalent.
Is the EFCC a law enforcement agency? Answer the question. Wait. Is the EFCC a law enforcement agency? The answer is yes.
Yes.
Is the secretary? Is somebody who is in the position of secretary? A member. Wait. A person, the office of secretary, which this man has served, is he a member of the commission? Section 2 says yes, he's a member of the commission. So he's a member, he has been a member of a law enforcement agency, which the EFCC is. So that section of the law is very clear. The issue you are talking about now is cognate experience. Yes. You are saying that his entire period of service in the EFCC was 4 years, not 15 years. That's the issue. And I'm saying that section of the law does not say that he must serve in the EFCC for 15 years. It only says he must have relevant experience, aching, something like the experience in this. And
it's out for 7 years, actually.
Okay, 7 years. Yeah. And in the EFCC. In the EFCC. His career did not start with 7 years in the EFCC. And it has not. No. And you can accuse me of being tendentious here, being a lawyer myself, that I'm trying to protect my profession. No, I'm open to attack on that. But I'm telling you that you cannot tell me that because a lawyer of 20 years is below the rank of Assistant Commissioner of Police. What is the meaning of that?
Yeah, but is it
do you agree with me?
Practice in a law
those
enforcement
EFCC cases,
or security?
Those EFCC cases that you are taking to court, do you know the qualification to be a judge in Nigeria?
Yes.
Or what is the qualification?
No. I mean, that's not the...
You must be a lawyer of not less than, is it 10 years or so?
But that is the profession. That is the profession. Is the law profession.
No,
it's quite
to be a judge.
Yeah.
When this EFCC, when they do whatever investigation, they go before judges.
Yes.
You may be appointed today and you begin to handle EFCC. This man has been a lawyer of 20 years standing.
Yes.
So you are and out of which he was 7 years in the FCC.
That's right.
The previous experience had to do with things relevant to economic and financial crimes and things like that. And then the president looks at... I'm not trying to justify it. I'm only reading... I'm trying to interpret for you what that section says. The section did not say your 15 years must be in the EFCC, must be in the army, must be in the police. I stand to be challenged.
Maybe that's the interpretation of other people. But just like that, he said,
yes, I understand
to him. And I just want to add to that, when people say, why does it always appear as if this government likes to tweak the law, the fact? And they will use examples, like even the example of Malam Nouri Badru himself. By the time he was going to be made the National Security Advisor as a police officer. And they said that except for an instance, where it had happened, it has always been somebody who had headed, a military formation or something like that, that would be. And they will give you example of a serving minister who's also a youth corps member, and then we will go back to the law and say that, oh no, there's a way to go around it. She has not broken. I'm just saying that this is what
you will
not
have
you,
to, you have
not
to,
you.
You have to invite Njuri Ngelale to come and be talking.
Ajuri is our brother.
My own is on section 2 of the EFCC Act.
Okay.
I've looked. I was of the view, reading what when you go through the social media, it's not qualified, it's not qualified, But then when you ask me to,
we should take it that Mr. Olukoyede, by your submission, is qualified. If he is, what sort of agenda will you set for him, given that he will be heading essentially core police officers in discharging the duties of the EFCC, which is basically to investigate crime and financial, maladministration, which may not be, even though he's been a lawyer, it may not be his core competence.
The agenda is already set by the Act. I think what you are, really interested in is whether Mr. Olukoyede would set a new, how do I put it now?
A new standard.
A new standard, or it will go the way of his predecessors in office. I think really that is left to him. When you are picked out of, they say we are over 200 million Nigerians.
Yeah.
My view is that anyone that is chosen to be in any public office, to serve, to do things for Nigeria, it's actually a privilege. It's a privilege, but if he realizes that and knows that whatever he does in that office affects the fate, the destiny, the condition of 200 million compatriots of his, then he will go out to do the job. But if he sees it as an opportunity to serve himself, to serve quote and unquote masters known and unknown, there's really nothing I can say about that. I will only encourage him to choose the one I said before and not the latter one. But we also need to understand that, unfortunately, even though the law says it's supposed to be an independent body, if you look at the trajectory of the previous chairman of the organization, you see that the executive arm of government, has not treated it that way. They don't consider it that way. They see the chairman as their agent who must serve at their beck and call, who must do what they want.
They all practically ended badly, from Nuri Badu, up till, almost all of them. They will be removed, unceremoniously and then hacked down.
Anti-corruption war in Nigeria, the history, I'm not saying that's what Ola will do. The history is, if he's a PDP president, the anti-corruption war is against the other party. If it is APC government, the anti-corruption war is against PDP.
But Magubawa are both within, it's an APC government.
No, it's because, they didn't, when they say jump, they didn't jump high enough. They jumped actually, but they didn't jump high enough. So the government felt, we told you to jump. You didn't. You jump in this also. Get out of this place. Unfortunately, that's the situation we found ourselves. So the success of the chairman of the EFCC is, largely dependent on how willing, the executive, whoever is in the executive arm of government, will allow it to go. When we are talking of, you see, the reason why they are chasing after Yahoo boys all over the place, going to invade hotels. You have a land matter, you go to them, they will go and arrest. Land matter, divorce, they interfere in it. Things like they try to find economic crime in divorce matter. But that's the truth. The reason why they are doing that is because the government had in power somehow had incapacitated them. Don't forget that the kind of crimes that we are talking about are, the big ones, the one that affect society, that affects Nigeria internationally, are. You need to be in government to be able to, or be holding one government position or the other to be able to. But the people perpetrating those things are also beholden to your appointer as chairman. So you go after them, you are taking a risk. You understand? So
Absolutely.
that's the reason why. And then when you do your own and you see that the government is not helping, you say, don't let me kill myself. Let me also help myself. And then you become corrupt. And you begin to take money and
which
do
is why I
collect
asked
bribe and
for
things like
the
that.
sort of agenda that you want, the new chairman, to set. It's not
It
just about what the law says, but it's about what he feels convinced in himself, having served as chief of staff, having served as secretary in capacities that are slightly different from, police officers that are just going after, criminals. Maybe that could give him the advantage of looking at things, slightly differently. And maybe you may not like this, but we are told that he's also a pastor, by the way. So maybe those things can have.
Olumide-Fusika is not interested.
I understand that. I understand that. But he has spoken. SAN has spoken so well about him, and I think that
I spoke so well about him.
In terms of the fact that he has.
I didn't.
No, I'm saying that.
I only said
of his appointments, rather.
No. We are talking about qualification.
Qualification.
Did you ask me to come and give?
No.
I
limit it to his qualification.
And the president in appointing him didn't ask me, what do you think about this? I'm only saying that when you look at the issue of qualification, in my own view, looking at the levels of the law, he is qualified, he is served in that position. Yes. He has experience too, he knows what goes on there. So it's not as if somebody is coming out from outside now. He's already aware, he's familiar with the terrain. And being familiar with the terrain, he knows the difficulties that the previous chairman have faced.
Absolutely.
At least he knows the difficulty that he faced when he was chief of staff to Magu, the problems with investigation and all that. With all that experience, he should be able to see where the problems are, where the loopholes are, where the weaknesses are, and then navigate it well. As a Nigerian, talking strictly as a Nigerian, I pray that he succeeds.
Absolutely. I'm saying that from a learned Sikh like your good self, that would be good music to the ears of the gentleman who will be celebrating his 54th birthday next week. I'm just saying that he will be happy that at least, some people can see things, slightly differently in his favor. And we congratulate him.
In favor of Nigeria, really, not in his favor.
Okay.
I still say that let's not personalize the issue. We are talking about Nigeria. We are not talking about individuals here. So let's not personalize it as say it's in his favor. He's not going there to serve himself. He's appointed to serve Nigerians. That's the first thing he must have in his head. He's not even appointed to serve the president. He's appointed to serve Nigerians, and that should be his focus. Not that, if I start this investigation, what would the president, body language, what would the president think about it? What will Akpabio think about it? What would Gbadjabi Amila think about it?
Akpabio will still have to confirm him, though.
No, once it's confirmed, he should go all out and do the work.
Absolutely.
It is to serve Nigerians. That's what he should have in it. That should be his, focus. Serving Nigeria, delivering for Nigeria.
Correct.
Not delivering for anybody.
Correct.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Olumide-Fusika, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. We do appreciate your contribution and your thoughts as shared on the program regarding this particular topic. Thank you so much.